back in the saddle once again. It's Tony, Captain Team England, Chris, Vice Captain Team England. Hello, Chris.
Hello. Feels like it's been a while.
It feels like
it's been too long.
It's been a while. We are feeding back tonight on Team England's performance at the Pyra Cup of Nations 2024, which was an 8-man WTC team event, and we're going to be looking ahead to this weekend's coming UKTC Major in Manchester. So we're having a look at kind of where the meta's shaping up, both for the 8-man teams and for singles at the moment. As we start to think about the new codexes that are starting to tease. We've seen little bits of Tau being leaked, Orcs on the horizon, Custodes we know is coming as well. So lots of stuff to be excited about in 40k. Any of the new armies piquing your interest, Chris, or not?
I might give CSM a quick look, when they're coming out. They're on the roadmap for summer.
Army. Get over yourself.
Oh, it
Jesus.
is. They're on the roadmap for sometime.
Last year for WTC, just because you carried your painted Abaddon all the way through the airport and all the way through.
Precious.
Yeah, and then his sword broke at the event.
Yeah, because I was holding it in my hand. I was like, I just crushed him in my hand. I was like, oh, his sword fell off. No. What a disaster.
The trials and tribulations of WTC experiences. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about a whole host of lists tonight, but I think a good place to start is to review Team England's performance at the Pyra Cup of Nations. So, going in, I think we predicted quite a strong performance for England in the end. We thought that they'd done quite well. I'm going to switch over to the Pyra Cup overall kind of summary screen there. So you can see England ended up 4th out of the 8 teams, which I think is not a bad place to be, in that we sent quite a new team. We had 2 players that have played in last year's playing teams, so Matt Robertson, one of the vice captains for this year, and Alex Harrison. But the other 6, whilst some of them have played previously, some have not played for a couple of years, some have never played before, some have never done 8-man teams. It was a really interesting event to really see that people find their feet over the course of the event. And I think in battle points, we've done quite well. We're actually both ourselves and Poland and France were below Belgium. When Belgium won, they really won, but they just couldn't get over the line against some of the.
Yeah, they were. Belgium were in the lower pod.
Yes.
Because they came 3rd in the group, so they ended up being so they couldn't technically finish higher than 5th.
Yeah, so the teams were ranked based on their previous WTC attendance last year, and so you kind of like seed 1 in pod 1, seed 2, seed 3, etc. So England had a fairly tough run, I think, on day 1, but qualified for the top pod, and then overall did pretty well. But it's a couple of close rounds where they just needed, like quite literally, a point or 2 would have seen the placing maybe flip and England go up to 2nd or even 3rd, depending on how that worked out. So if we have a look at the.
I think it was the same story from WTC. I think it was like 85-point draw versus the US or something like that.
It was an interesting event. So Poland had 2 teams that they had 2 mixed teams where they had 4 vets and 4 new guys. France brought quite a strong team. USA brought a mixture. Scotland brought a mixture. Team Netherlands I've brought quite a strong team. And Belgium had a strong team as well. And first round, England just got that draw, 75-85. So the WTC scored every game out of 20
That's classic points. Welcome to World Warhammer, isn't it? It's like your first event, your first time playing, you're like, I've not played Warhammer like this before. Like it's just odd because we played. Like I had that experience versus Bulgaria. I think our first game was at WTC.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, these are the lowest ranked team in our pod, but they're solid. Like they knew what they were doing. Like, and
there were no pushovers at WTC. And if you win that event, fair play. You've had 7 teams that desperately wanted to beat you, and nobody's a rollover, nobody's there for a laugh, and nobody's there chatting about it, and they're timing out, and they're going, "Oh, sorry." Everybody's taking it seriously, and I think that the standards only got better since we came back after lockdown, since WTC broke away from what was the old ETC, and I think you're right. I think some of our guys found out. They just found out that it's tough. They found out that people weren't going to give you any points, that everybody's there to gain.
It's not round 1 at a singles event. It's definitely not that.
No, and also if you make a mistake with your list at deployment, that can screw you in certain missions. And there were some tough missions in that pack. France absolutely smashed one of the Polish teams. USA cruised through Netherlands, and then dude's got a similar draw out of Scotland. And again, Poland, last year's WTC champs, dude's one of the stronger teams, four of their better players maybe in that team, got a draw against Scotland. So there's no shame in it. It's all over the place. Good draw. Going into round 2 though, England were really pleased that they picked up a win against France, and that was a good solid round where we had some good performances there. A flat out draw again. Belgium drew with one of the Polish teams. USA smashed again and got a big win out of Scotland, and then dudes got a big win out of Netherlands. So that was already an interesting kind of day one shaping up point at that point. I think it was good for the English boys to get a win and to have some people bring in bigger scores after a tough first round. We had 1 or 2 blowouts, didn't we, against Belgium, where people didn't get the scores.
Yeah.
And guys, if you are watching this or listening to this and you would like to go and see these scores, look at the lists, this tournament is, the results and the pairings hosted on Tourney Keeper, which is free to access, and you can go and find the Pyra Cup of Nations, and you can look at the leaderboard, the individual leaderboard. You can click on the players, have a look at their lists, have a look at the statistics, and really delve into that if that's the side of 40k you really like to get into. We're not going to spend all evening just kind of delving through that, but it is worth a look. I always like to look at the lists and see where lists paired up or what mission they played, and just give me an idea of how things work in the meta. So that was not bad. Now it's 3 games day 1, and then day 2 is 2 games and everybody dashes to the airport. So end of a long day, and these are it's hard. WTC is normally 4.5 hours around, if not 4:45, to help with the language barrier, to help with the pairings, and they've stretched it. It used to be like 3, 2, 2 in the games in a day across Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but now it's 1 game on a Thursday, so you can have 2 games on Friday, 2 games Saturday, 2 games Sunday. They're really trying to give you as much time to play the game, so you get the proper results, and people don't feel rushed or cheated, or they're not stressed out. So, but this event couldn't afford that. Everybody kind of flew in on the Friday, and Saturday was 3 games. England got an 81-79 draw into the Polish team, and again, I think that's pretty good. A win and 2 draws in your pod saw us through, and you look at it and you start to see everybody else is getting close. USA managed to get a small win against Poland. Netherlands got a small win against Scotland. So it was really pleased to see the guys make it through after the round 1 draw, squeaky bum draw. And that put them into the big boy rounds. So they had 2 games, knockout against the stronger Poland team, dudes, that had won in their half the pod. And then they were going to play USA at the end. So you basically get to play each of the teams that their bar couple once. So England missed out on Netherlands and Scotland, I think is the way that works out.
Yeah, that's the only 2 to play.
Which is a shame, because they're both fantastic teams to play.
Out of all the teams, you choose not to play them, because we play against Scotland and Netherlands way more often, because they're always our home nations.
Yeah, so we see those players come over for big UK events, so we get to play them regularly. So that's probably more useful. But a 71-89, that is like a 4 points off a draw, lost round, and there were a couple of little swings that just didn't go our way, or players were told to push, or players ran out of time, and that was a tough round, I think, to lose. But the guys had to pick themselves up to go and play USA for the end, and that is even more heartbreaking. England were 1 point off the win. Sorry, 2 points off the win.
Just one. It's just that. Like, to put that into perspective, that is literally just going turn 5. A guy made a 9-inch charge. That's 2 points in the round.
Yeah,
that
so
is it.
It's every couple of points. Was it every 5 points in your game?
Every 5 points is 1 point. So it's like, he's made a 9-inch charge to score storm hostile objective, and then denied you your primary in your next turn because he's now on that objective. It's 10 points ring in your game, 2 points ring in the round.
And you're going across 8 players. 8 players. 1 of you, 2 you couldn't manage 5 more points each. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I think you look in the top pod and you go, all right, well, everybody's drawing at that point. That last mission is a bit draw central, but England paired really well. Actually, we're really happy with the pairings. Nearly had the beating USA, which I think would have put us, if we knocked USA down, they would have been on 15 for that. So we would have been on 17. So we would have been top, because in that last pod, everybody was drawing.
No, I don't think so.
Is it not 3 for a win? And they played 5 games.
No, it's 2 points for a win. So
2 points for a win.
we'd game 1. We'd be on 11. No, wait. What's the points here? We'd be on 16. Yeah, we'd come second.
They've got. They must be doing 4-2.
What happened was they gave everyone else 10 points. So the top pod get 10 points extra each, just so it made sure that Belgium came 5th.
Okay, so we were in 7, but they'd have been on 6. Yeah, we'd have been top.
No, because we got a draw, so we got.
If we'd got a win
already.
Oh yeah, we'd have been on 6, and we probably would have. Oh, but if we won, we maybe would have come second to France on battle points. Yeah, okay, fair.
Perhaps. Very close.
This way you shouldn't podcast late at night, you see. My math skills are just failing me. But interestingly, we had some cracking performances from the team over the weekend. And I think, there were some interesting scores that came out of that. We saw Anthony Vanella from Team USA. Now, Anthony's been playing World Eaters non-stop. I mean, God, since the book dropped, I think, is it that many games? I think
everyone...
He's played 100, 200 games with them now.
Yeah, as soon as the balanced data slate came out, everyone was like, "Oh, World Eaters are dead." Apparently not. Should we? So if we go into like the individual lists here, Anthony was the highest scorer at the event.
Yeah, and he had Angron, Khan, Invocatus, Master Executions, and then 2 10-man Jackals, and then Big Berserker Blob, Small Berserker Blob, 2 Rhinos, and then 8-bound, 8-bound, 8-bound. I believe at the moment he's switched out one of those World Eaters. And he's got another character in there, or he's got something else. I think actually might have bumped both of his 8-bound up to big units.
Well, you're more in the know than me, Tony. I ain't got a clue.
Well, he's got more angry guys to hit people rather than 2 trucks, basically. But he had a cracking event. Scoring 89 points out of his possible 100. That was great. One behind him was Liam VSL for Belgium, who's kind of their 40k savant, running Death Guard. Got 5 wins, got 88 points, did really well. And then England's Alex Harrison running his Space Marine, we want to say Ironstorm list, but really it's the Space Marine car park, isn't it?
Yeah.
With Tech Marines and Incessors, lots of Eliminators and Cursors, just Infernus Marines in this one, with lots and lots of cheap tanks and transports and a fun Storm Raven. And, it's just got guns and tricks coming out of all sorts of places. It's really... I was going to say aggressive, but that's probably not the word. Oppressive is probably what I'm after, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Whilst it is aggressive in terms of how you play and it just gets in your face, it is oppressive, the amount of shots and the range of guns and the speed that it can pull.
I played against this for the first time, and I was like, I was playing like multiple Katana at this point, and I was like, Katana pretty solid, takes a lot to kill them. And I actually had no idea what the sort of firepower it put out, and I think a lot of people felt this the first time they play against it, and they go, I put like 3 Catan out on like the front line, and like, if he goes first, he might kill a Catan, but I've got some good punch back into him. Should kill a few tanks back. I lost all 3 of them. Yeah, just dead. One of them got one shot by a Storm Raven.
That's not average
Storm Bolters. No, well he got grenaded, so he lost a wound, and then Mercy's weakness with all the Storm Bolters and stuff that it has on it, it just died, evaporated.
I've got grenade plans for the Catan that I meet.
It's grim.
And then we had Cook from Public Privilege running the Sisters, so that is, I would say, probably a nice, pretty mixed Sisters list with 30 Arcos, the little Penitents running around being annoying vehicles, an Exorcist and Triple Castigator. Some lists have pivoted to have less of the mech, dropping the Exorcist potentially, and having loads of these really cheap jump squads, which just give you so much mission play. I think Sisters are very strong, especially in WTC settings at the moment. Perkastor was running the second highest Space Marine player, which even with 2 draws, was running a cool Blood Angels list that we talked about, I think, going into the event, with the triple captain, with all the attacks, just going, loads and loads and loads of really efficient combat. That was quite a scary list. That did really well. And then you had the man, the myth, the legend, winner of WTC with Team England, Super Merc Nick Nanavati, was running Sisters. And that's a Nick list. It's just loads and loads of chaff. Just running.
There's no tanks in this one, right? There's no castigators. He's took all
triple
out.
Emulator, double Rhino. Nick loves armies that just have loads and loads of just bodies and just throws it at you. I think that's why originally he fell in love with the GC, the cult, when he played for England that year, because it just lists that run loads and loads of bodies and loads of crap. Although, ironically, we pushed him onto a triple aberrant build that he wasn't a big fan of. But, good times.
And Necrons? Yes!
Oh, Necrons.
What Necrons is this?
Nobody wants to talk about Necrons. Come on.
It wasn't the triple monolith Silent King, so I'm not interested.
How did the triple monolith Silent King list do, actually?
Not very well. He got 20 0'd by Anthony in the first game, so that was a good start.
Yeah.
He ended up getting 50 points. Average, perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
All right, Thomas. Roll. Jesus Christ. No, thank you.
50 points, straight on the dot. So it did okay. I think that's one of those lists where if you do make it, like, that's with a 20-0 loss as well, right? So it got slapped and then sort of pulled it back.
Is that losing to World Eaters?
I mean, it does if you let Angon charge turn 1, which I think is what happened. Stories. And just killed the monolith, and then killed another monolith, and then killed another monolith, and yeah, that's how that went.
So again, guys, if you want to go to Tony Keeper, go on the individual leaderboard, click on the player names, you can go down that. And I mean, we do see a few more Space Marines. I'm interested actually. Space Marines in WTC have a lot of play, don't they? They've got skews and they've got the ability to put out loads of bodies. I think they're
just always good. Space Marines are never bad. Like, very rare that Space Marines are bad in the game.
Shout out for the Orc player of the event, Brian C. 69 points out of the old 100, running his crazy character heavy war boss in battle wagon heavy list. Just aggressive, isn't it? That is a list you've got to have no fear about, just running people. Did really well with that as well. So a good event for England overall. Maybe a bit disappointed to come forth, but I think when you are on the first game of the event a point off a loss, and in the last game of the event beating the undefeated people in the pairing scoring and needing a few more points to win the round, you can hold your head up high and go, yeah, we've had a good event.
Yeah, it was really good. I think the team was really impressed with how they handled themselves. So I think we'll definitely go in next year.
T Poland ran a great event, hired a hotel, had everybody put up, fed, watered, terrain. It was great, really easy to get to and from for the airport. So big shout out to them for getting that sorted. I mean, it's useful for their own team selection and things, but I think all 8 teams found that a really useful event to be part of. So not bad for England. Like I said, if you want to find out more about that, go to Tourney Keeper, search up Pyra Cup of Nations, and it is all there for you to see. Well, that's part 1 of our podcast, but part 2 is the upcoming Manchester GT UKTC Super Major. Now, 270 or 280. I don't know if this is normally these events go bigger, don't they?
No, this is a big one. This is big. This is like the 3rd biggest one.
Okay, I think
behind what? Not
UKTC always do a fantastic job of venues and setup and everything, but they had an unfortunate case of the venue that they had planned for cancelled like a week before the event. So they found an alternative that for most people actually is really good for transport. And there's some people who've got city centre.
Yeah, I love this. This is a much better venue. Like,
yeah, the venues are much nicer. The parking's much better. Where they were was very handy if you were going to stay in Manchester or fly in. But if you were driving, the parking was a nightmare. Like, it was
city centre of Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
So, big event. And what are you running, Chris?
Yeah,
which faction have you picked to run
I've
for
got
this
the
one?
Necrons out, obviously. That's what I'm playing at the minute.
Oh,
having a good time.
Let's find you then. Let's go. I'm sure we can search you up in here.
Pull my list up.
Okay, roster. The man, the myth, the legend. Chris Kinnear. Team England. I spelled your name wrong. Lol.
Shocking.
First of our Necron list this evening. So Chris is running triple Chronomancer, a Void Dragon, triple Immortal, 10 mans. And then you've got 3 lots of 3 Heavy Destroyer, you lunatic.
And then 2 monoliths. Yes, that's it. That is the list. That is all it is.
Tailored to perfection.
There's nothing else.
Right. Tell the world why you're running this list, because I know why.
So I've been playing with double monoliths for a while now. Not quite this list. So the part that is new for this event is the 9 Locust Heavy Destroyers with Gorse, and that is because I knew that every single person at this event was going to have at least half their army be vehicles, and that is the best anti-tank Necrons can really put out. So I thought I don't have a chance at beating like the Space Marine car park list with my normal list. I mean, there is a chance, but it's so risky because Catan's can just fall over in that game. 10 Immortals can just get evaporated, it's like no problem, and they have no problems gunning Monolith either. So I need those anti-tank guns with the long range is the biggest part of it, really. Just so you can just stand off and just kill 3 to 4 tanks a turn.
Well, you're not the only person who's going down that route. We have some other Necron players in our big old list of Doom.
Yeah, I saw a few guys who've got onto a lot of Locust heavies. I think everyone's sort of realizing the meta is just going extremely sort of heavy vehicle bias, so it just makes total sense.
So it's funny. Josh Roberts, who's run a couple of UKTC majors, big events this year,
yes,
he's still running triple Doom.
No one's teching for him. No one's teching for him.
Left and right. He's just going fuck it. Nobody can hurt me. I'm just running all my usual stuff. Cesaras, who's annoying as hell. Triple Plasmancer, triple Technomancer. It's just the same annoying, jumpy around list with infiltrating bits and bobs. I mean, that's a great mission playlist, which I think is how he likes to play the game. So he's running that. You're running jumpy around Necrons designed to smash vehicles. I mean, should we talk about some vehicle lists?
Yeah, go on.
Well, first one, Alex Harrison is retaining his. He came runner-up at the South Coast GT. Did well at the Nottingham one with this. Did well at the Pyra Cup we just mentioned with a very similar list. He's running the Black Templars based Iron Storms. He's running mass spams of Gladiators, Reapers, and Lancers. Tons of Melter and anti-tank shots. Anti-infantry out the wazoo in case you brought any. Dropped the Storm Raven for this one though to give himself the extra couple of Lancers.
I think. Talking to Alex, I think the Storm Raven is just very difficult to use on UKTC. You just can't deploy it efficiently, and then trying to move it out from behind that big ruin is just a nightmare. Putting it in reserves doesn't tend to do very well because you don't have a ruin to hide behind if you come in, and it's just easier to just use 2 more tanks instead of that, basically.
And we've got before I forgot to actually mention, we have Courtney Rhodes also running the Necrons. So he's running. He's going down the more traditional kind of triple Catan, 2 characters, 1 normal build, and then he's got a selection of the Locust Destroyers and Monolith. I think probably very similar in the way that you're going. Wants to bring lots of things that can tackle the anti-tank. Having the 2 units of heavies and a Monolith still gives you a good swing into those lists with the Catan. Maybe it won't be as effective at yours as at just taking out vehicle hulls, but it's still annoying to get off objectives and walk forward and just stop some army scoring to primary.
Yeah, it's a nuisance. Jumping up and down Necrons.
Hypercrypt again. Don't want to see that. Tau. Now tonight we're going to be going through the England players. We've got a big selection of players. Strings will try out for Team England. We'll be announcing our team selection for the final 8 players come the end of April. What's our last kind of set of singles?
How are we going to do that, Tony? We're going to do that like the NFL draft. I think we should be like a big spectacle of it. Just get the popcorn out.
I thought we could do it like Guess Who, and we could just go. There's a selection of faces, and we'll just gradually put the little faces down on the board. Just drop them out.
Let's get some ideas out.
Boom. Do you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to film that live. Let's do it.
That'd be so good. That's a great idea.
Well, hoping his face doesn't get popped down is Kyle Grundy, Master and Commander of the Tau, running what he describes to me as his favourite Tau list of this current index, probably for one of its last hurrahs. You've got Shadow Sun, Commander in Crisis Battlesuit, Dark Strider, his fave, Long Strike, last run out, and then Double Breacher, Double Devilfish, and then a selection of Ghost Keels, Hammerhead, Pathfinders, and Riptides. And I know that this is spamming, if you haven't noticed from the summaries here, SMS all over the place. He's just going, I'm going to try and give you things that are hard to shoot because they're lone op, or things that have SMS, and just throw shots at those 5-man, scourges behind a wall, those little scout units over here, and just whittle you down. If you pop out, haven't got that big crisis unit that gives up my secondaries. It still gives up Bring It Down because Tau just hemorrhage Bring It Down. But I actually think this one is probably one of the harder ones to get Bring It Down off.
Yeah, because the Ghost Keels are lone ops as well, right? Just basically got 3 Riptides, which are annoying to kill, plus a few Hammerheads, which are sort of tend to stay back. So it's not guaranteed to get Bring It Down, but it's one of those. I think if you're beating it, you probably are scoring 20 on Bring It Down.
And I do quite like that as a towel list. Of the ones I've seen this edition, I think it's got more tools to play the game than others. I just played a game recently with in TTS scrim for England against France with my Eldar, and I think this would have given me a much harder time. Just being able to chip away at like things like D cannons and little hawk units behind walls without having to commit a big 200-point unit, massive for the tower player. So that's quite a clever list. Hope that Carl does really well. Marcus Hinton, running, I would say, Marcus Tau, I like big guns and I cannot lie. All right, Marcus. So he's gone for the more conventional Cold Star, the Shadow Sun Crisis. Big blobber suits, small blobber suits, baby blobber suits, Ghost Keel, Hammerhead, Crew Hounds, Piranha, Riptide, Stealth. I would say it's more of a conventional Tau gunline suit army. Has a couple of SMS, but not as many. Not in the same way that Kyle's list is going to be able to spam out shots for you.
Kyle's been killed by fire dragons before, hasn't he? He's like, fuck those guys.
Kyle probably played Manny last event when he had all the scourges and things and went, you know what, I'm not doing that again. It's not worth it. We're switching factions. We've now got everybody's favourite England mercenary, Nassim, running his totally underpowered guard list. Manticore of Manchester with an Arab at the gates is the name of the list.
I just don't understand his names.
It sounds like a bad translation of something. Anyway. Doesn't it?
It does.
Translate it into English and you're like, I'm not really sure what that was meant to be. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. He's got the standard. He's got double tank commander. He's got jungle fighters, which are an interesting choice for mission play. I think he's quite useful. And then he's got a basilisk, and he's got the 2 lots of 6 Bullgrim, and then 30 Kazakin. He's gone up to 6 Bullgrim. Going to have to get in touch by Space Wolves. His last time out in an event, bad times. Only double Manticore, not triple though. So he hasn't got all the anti-tank in the world in terms of artillery, but he's got more mission play and a better variety of units. So I think that's a pretty good.
How many Bullgrims does he have?
2 lots of 6.
2 lots of 6.
So he's got double Manticore, Earthshaker, and Basilisk with an Earthshaker. You know what I mean? I don't know why they don't call them Earthshakers, honestly. So that's a pretty balanced guard list. I mean, you compare that with somebody like Adam Lane. Adam Lane and the Team England setup from last year. He's got pretty similar, but this is what David Gaylord ran for his recent UKTC win, where he's got double Basilisk, a single unit Bullgrin, and then triple Kazakin, and then the double Manticore as well. So it's giving you the extra shots and the extra Basilisk. I think that extra anti-tank piece is really useful. You have to see whether one of
his tank commanders are not as good because they don't get the orders. Well, there's not enough orders to give them.
Yeah, fair. There's another guard list. And that brings us to our last archetype, really, in that you've got 3 lots of unending swarms. And the first 2, Ed Watts and Nathan Roberts, both applying to Team England this year. So this is a list that we've seen coming from the WTC scene, where you're basically just spamming out units of gargoyles and gaunts and throwing them forward, where Nathan has gone for some shooting support, some Maliceptors, some extra greens, new Elictors, Pyrovores, to put a bit more, I suppose, an alternative threat around the ability to grow and respawn these gargoyles. Ed has gone just horde spam. Oh no, actually, I lie.
No, he hasn't. No, he's changed it.
Oh, he's changed it at the death. Ed Watts, take it back. He's got triple Maliceptor and triple X-Scream. I do think that's better, actually. Then the last time I saw him playing it, he had 300 models
and no guns
on TTS and no will to live, basically. At that point.
I think when you start out with that list, it's very much you just all about just spamming stuff. But then you just the more you play it, you just get better at using the units that you have.
So where does he sacrifice compared to Nathan's?
He's very, very similar.
2020, 10, 10, and then 20 Termagants, and Nathan's gone 2020, 10, 10. I think got the Termagants, but he's got a few more mission play pieces. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they're both very similar lists. They do very similar things.
And then shout out to my Eldar bro, Ben Jones, who's sold out and is also running the same list. Ben, what are you doing? It's not that bad in the craft world that you had to sell out and run gargoyles. Don't be that guy. So just to be awkward, he's got 20, 10, 10, but he's run 1 unit of 10 Termagants, and he's got slightly different support at the bottom. He's got some Ripper Swarms as well and some Zone Throws. I love how they've all got just slightly different tweaks on them.
Yeah, that I think you're pretty much there. You got your 20, 10, 10. You take some Exocrines, you take some Maliceptors, and then you just sort of fill the rest with some Neuralifters. They're in there. You just sort of fill them out a bit. And you just go, well, that feels nice to me.
Well, last but not least, it's my list. Hooray! Only cowards pick Assassination. I shall be calling everybody who picks it a coward. I've gone for nice, friendly auto.
Sticking with the Eldar, Tony. Sticking with it.
Do you know what, mate? It's amazing how many people have sacked off the Eldar.
10?
And I think
absolutely crazy. 10 people are taking Eldar.
Another event you guys can find on BCP is called the Eurotrash Teams, which is another WTC event happened just this last weekend. England didn't attend that one, but that was in the mixture of teams from across Europe and abroad. And that, I was following really closely all the Eldari lists in that, and they struggled. They really struggled. There was a couple of rounds where like one player there was 10 teams, 9 players ran Eldar, one team just didn't take Eldar, and they won. And of the other 9 teams, there was a couple of rounds where one Eldar player got like an 11-9, 12-8 win. Like they're really struggling to push differentials and I think on a more basic level hold primary, because you used to hold primary by going
live.
You used to hold primary by going, here's 10 Wraith Guard who are going to just edge onto this objective and the character. If you come near the character, you'll get hit by 10 Wraith Guard and or an Avatar. And now, you still got the Avatar. He's just as efficient as he was, but the threat around him of 10 Wraith Guard just isn't there. And it's a combination of the meta shifting and the list hasn't got the ability to put damage. Now, I have not taken D-cannons, which I know is heresy in the current game.
Controversial.
Well, it is until you play somebody who knows how D-cannons work. Goes, cool, well, they've got to hide behind that ruin, so I just won't go near it. Or I'll touch an objective with this one model and it's fine, and you'll probably get 1 or 2 shots and you kill 2 chaff guys. Like, they're okay. They're easy to play around. I think they're at most impact when you bring 1 or 2 out from reserve. You don't use them as a backfield artillery piece. They're very much a forward-firing, move out, get a line of sight if I need it, and then I'm just annoying behind terrain. Or you're playing your guard with tank commanders and you put 2 or 3 in reserve. You bring them on, you bring a Farsi near them, you smash that tank commander and he can't kill you. It's that kind of play. It's probably where they're better. But I've decided not to do that either, and I've just dropped them. So I've got an Auto Way Leaper, Baharoth, will come as him. Death Jester with the Fate's Messenger. I can't decide if that's good or not, but I wanted to run that for so long.
Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he's utterly crap.
Well,
that's how he goes.
He's sustained 3, right?
Yeah. You roll 6 is good.
Yeah, I can get 12 hits. That'd be awesome. So, Fastest Guy Runner, Reader of the Runes. He's probably one of my favourite units, actually, since switching around with it. The Reader of the Runes, reroll 1 of the Fate Dice every turn is clutch. Because if you get 6 Fate Dice and then you get, 5 poor rolls, you just need the ability to mess with them. And I haven't got anything in the army to add Fate Dice in. That is the other way to go with this. You could give, the other Way Leaper under them and then, kill something and get a Fate Dice, but you're probably only getting that one time. Death Chester could have it, but I think people just play around it. I've got the Solitaire. I ran my last Solitaire because you suggested it, Chris. And when I had 115 points left in this list, I put him back in just so I could tell you that if he's rubbish, it's your fault. And I told you this, I think, in episode 3 or 4, and I'm telling you again, if this Solitaire is bad, it is your fault.
I've had no input on this list, so I'm not.
And then everybody's favourite, Fire Dragon Daddy Fugan. He's got 2 lots of Fire Dragons to go around with. 5 Rangers, because he doesn't like infiltrating chaff. 4 Skyweavers is what I'm testing in this list, is one of the main things. I like to test certain units and just throw them out. So this list is testing, do Skyweavers do what I need for anti-tank? Do I need more of them? Do I need 12?
I like them.
You like them? You think
I'm
Haywire's good, don't you?
I'm onto Haywire now. I'm all over Haywire. Current meta, get your Haywire out, lads.
Well, because you can fire and fade and you can give them reroll hits, I think there's a couple of ways around the
one squad just going out. Is it a big 4-man squad you've got?
Big 4-man. Yeah, I nearly ran 2 2s. And I thought, you know what? I'll make the most of 1-4. They come out of reserve and still then fire and fade 14 behind a ruin. There's loads of ways you can make them, I think, more impactful as anti-tank than D-cannons.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're going to be interesting. I've got my big 10-man Swooping Hawk unit. I love this unit. Baharoth and 10 Swooping Hawks get to move, shoot, move, Or, if you really fancy it, move, shoot, move, fire and fade, or move with an auto advance 6, then move 6, then fire and fade. They move so far. They're just so annoying. It's great.
What is expensive?
275 is not big in the meta. I mean, it's like an eighth of my army.
275 for 11 elves.
Yeah, but they're flying elves that whip around going, lethal hits, lethal hits.
That changes everything.
Do you know what, right? When they move, what is it? 28. When they move 40 inches in one turn and take your home objective and score me capture enemy outpost turn 1, shut your face. That's all I'm going to say to you. They'll die to that monolith, but it doesn't matter because I'm on your objective.
They'll die to Kyle's SMS.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. And then I've got 2 more little baby units of Hawks because I think they're getting the great mission play. And then I've kept my... I told everybody how bad they were, and I'm back on them. Now you're not running a big Wraithguard brick. 10 Wart Spiders can be the fire and fade thing. And I think you're either going to want to fire and fade 10 Wart Spiders or 4 Sky Weavers.
You've got a few options, right? So you've got your plain infantry, the Wart Spiders, you're playing anti-tank, the haywire bikes.
Yeah, I've tried to give myself the shots everywhere for everything. I do want to see if this character combo works. I mean, I have got a selection of lone ops as well, and I like being able to play. When you've got the Wayleaper with Eldar, you do need to commit him. He is a good killer unit. He has got grenades. He's got the Banshee Mask. He's got fusion gun. But when he's also the thing that gives you 2 CP a turn, it's hard. So I have gone for the second one and been greedy with the idea that this first one can hide and keep giving me my 2 CP. That is massive when you need those units to survive. I played a game, like I said, against the French, and I lost my Wayleaper kind of turn 2, 3-ish, and it was a real struggle those last couple of turns just to make my CPs work, and I had to really sacrifice things and go, oof. Hadn't have gone, it would have been good. So God knows if this is good. There's me, and that's what I was going to look for. Dan Bates, Glasshammer Gaming co-founder. He's also one of the heroes not running mech, and he's got Spirit Seer of Rain, Rangers, Triple Shadow Spectre, Shroud Runners, Triple Support Weapon, Double Hawks, a little troop unit for your range hide in. His 10 Wraithblade unit he loves, and then he's gone to Triple Scourges and 2 Reavers, which I think I'm going to try next, because the Reavers are really good. 60 points for a 3-man bike unit that do mortal wounds, that have a anti-infantry 3+ combat weapon, and then a melter gun in each squad. And because they're in the allies, they get a real hit and wound. It's perfect for 60 points. So fast, really annoying.
They're okay. They are
60 points.
No, they're good. They're good. 60 points are good.
If they were battle line, would you take 6 of them? That's the measuring stick for me. If Swooping Hawks are battle line, would I take 6 units of Swooping Hawks? You damn right
absolutely would.
Right.
Yeah.
So Reavers are 60 points.
Yeah, but it's biker, right? It's mounted keyword rather than infantry.
Yeah, but you don't care because you move 16 and auto advance something stupid, or even if you don't, you just got an assault fusion gun and you get 1 reroll. You're just going forward and
I think I'm a bit biased because I just played against Jakari and they came out, missed both their heat lance shots and died. So I was like, okay.
Well, I mean, they are 60 points. I mean,
yeah, it's good. I agree. 60 points is very good for that.
They're the takeaway trash of the Dark Eldar army list. You wish that they were Scourges, but they're not. So you're just taking them instead and going, nah, go on, boys. Live your best life. Shout Melter and hope that you melt that tank. Melter! So big props to Dan Bates because he might be lending me a Baharoth model. Because apparently Baharoth and all of the Swooping Hawks in the UK are sold out. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, indeed. So, bad times. Well, listen, people, if you are interested in finding out about the Manchester GT, you can check out one of our sponsors, Best Good Pairings. Their subscription to their website gives you access to all the events, all the lists, all the pairings as they're going, all the scores, so you can keep track of that over the weekend. We'll be back next week or the week after, potentially to talk about how we both did at that event. Hopefully next week if we can manage that. Alan, what are our predictions? Who do you think is going to win it?
We've missed a
list here. Yeah, no.
We've just
intentionally I closed those tabs because who do you think is going to win it, Chris?
Oh, it might be Team Twix.
Team Twix. You've got to end on a high. So Team Twix is the terrible collaboration.
Gruesome twosome.
Yeah, Manny, Chima, and Vic VJ. Two of our England selected players for this year, and they've come up with the 3 reds and 5 dreads combination. Now, I believe Vic has gone for a slightly tamer version than Manny.
No, they're exactly the same.
Oh no, I thought no, they're not. Manny's got 1 less Tetmarine, and Vic has got a little bit more chaff. So Manny's gone for double Tetmarines in Grey Knights, double Grandmaster, triple Land Raider Redeemer, triple Dread Knight, a Calidus, and 4 henchmen. And Vic, I believe, has got not the Calidus, but got an extra Tetmarine and a bit of chaff. These Tetmarines are very good because they're old index Tetmarines for 60 points. I'm not going to say any more than that. Go and look them up. They're ace. This list is, you can either deal with 3 Land Raiders and 5 Dread Knights, or you can go to the bar and go, oh, that was fun to play. Who are you predicting to play against over this weekend, Chris? Because I'm hoping that if I do well at this event, I'm hoping that these guys knock each other out round 2, and I go, oh.
Because I knew this was coming, right? And you can see why I've made the selections in my list that I have. Because I knew they were bringing this, and I'm like, fuck, I need some anti-tank.
Well, do you know, I could have arguably run the D cannons, and they give me a chance, but I still think that the Dread Knights and things have the ways to play around it. The Calidus, it doesn't really help me play the missions anymore. So we'll see. I've got some options, but I don't predict an Eldar win. I don't think my 11 flying elves at 375 points are going to have great value into 5 Dread Knights and 3 Land Raiders.
Honestly, Tony, if you get drawn versus these, I think you just back up.
Well, I won't.
Elves don't like getting burnt.
Maybe not, but we'll do our very best. I mean, I can hope for that. You can't even go for the hope for turn 1, block them in the DZ, because they'll either flame you and run you over, or they'll just teleport away going, Dread Knights. Upsetting.
That Haywire Bite squad best pull some weight.
Jesus Christ, and have to split fire and kill 2 Dread Knights in 1 round of shooting for 4 turns. Ugh.
Possible.
Yeah, alright. And at that point, that if this doesn't win the Super Major, we're both going to be super surprised. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. I think it's a very good shot.
I think if we go down the other list we talked about so far, all of the other top lists we talked about will struggle into this. Potentially, the Guard have a chance into it. Potentially, the Necrons have a chance into it, because ultimately the shooting is not that high strength, and the combat.
Yeah, still the sort of Alex Harrison's list can beat it as well. That just has absurd damage. Someone's mispositioned. It's very dice game.
But the changes to the points of Grey Knights mean that you've got reasonable points in all of it, in terms of range of guns. Tanks aren't too expensive. Dread Knights teleport. Like, you've just got the ability to go, I think I've got enough big units that are hard to get through. It's a bit like a variation of Imperial Knights, I suppose, really, in the way that it plays, but it's just faster. And I think position and speed is always going to be king in 40k. You can just drive the Redeemers at people whilst the Dread Knights teleport around. Impressive. If this ruins your weekend, don't say we didn't warn you. And on that note, I think that's enough. No cry into my Grey Knight Codex. Ugh.
I need to go paint. I need to get my army ready. That's what I need to do.
Big shout out to anybody lending me Swooping Hawks for the weekend. There we go. Can't believe they're sold out everywhere, Games Workshop. Sort it out.
New models? Question mark.
New models? Question mark. Well, on that cliffhanger, will Swooping Hawks get new sculpt? Will the Haroth become the Super Phoenix that we want it to be? That's a good night from me.
Good night from me.
So at the end of another successful episode, the only thing left to say is if you guys could hit the like button and even hit the subscribe button for us, that would really help us to grow YouTube. You can find out more about Team England through our Facebook link below and our Discord. Feel free to join and get involved there. If you do want to even support Team even further than that, you can find us over on Patreon as well. And this podcast is available via Spotify and all good podcasting services. Until next time.